Hello there, YouTubers. Very frustrated at this, the response that I'm getting on this tree. It's just been very negative. And every now and then those negatives build up to you and get to you. So I'm going to go over some of those. A lot of them people probably don't mean to be negative, but it's just kind of the way the times are, I think. They're negative toward everybody, even toward the president, which I don't like him, but I'm not negative toward him. I support him, but I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. Anyhow, this tree here that nobody really realized what's going on. Can you see all the Ys in the tree? There's like 4 Ys, and they're all interconnected. Okay, there was no way this tree was going to drop straight through those other trees. I knew that. That's why I never cut it down in 5 years. I was hoping that the upper limbs, like this one here that I already cut off, would rot and drop, so then it would be a straight shot through the path. Now, I got a whole list of things I want to go over. Of course, I already lost my list. That's how bad I am. Oh, here it is. And there's a lot of other things. I'm going to hammer a lot of people. I can't see if you can read any of that stuff. But anyhow, we're going to go up the top. It's windy up at the top of the hill. What a lot of people don't realize is the steepness of this hill. And so they're making comments that they have no idea what's going on. And I'll tell you one thing, when you leave me a negative comment or even a positive comment, a lot of the people, I click on you guys and I look to see how your channel's doing. And I would say 98% of the people that leave me what I would consider a non-favorable comment, nasty, mean, negative, whatever you want to call it, have no channel. They have a channel with no videos. So they don't know exactly what it's like to get told you're stupid. And I don't mind being told I'm stupid to one point, but then when somebody stupider than me is telling me how stupid I am, then I kind of get a little, or a person, there's a name for it, and I'm going to put it in the description on the video name of this thing. Anyhow, you can see, maybe I can zoom in a little bit better. I know I'm shaky because I'm holding the camera, but once I get up to the top is where the thing is. It is just totally twisted amongst itself. Okay? There's no way that tree was going to come down. Now, there were several people that said, oh, your notch was too high, your notch was too low, you should have done this, you should have done that. It's funny because Mike Morgan had a thing on the you should have people the other day. It was probably only 4 or 5 days ago, and it sure, I could really relate to it, you know. You think because some of the people that leave comments, they think that because they're watching people like Nuts 319 or Buck and Billy Ray. I watch those guys, and that's what, you know, one person left me a comment, and go watch this other guy, and this other guy was a joke. Anyhow, those guys are professionals. I am not a professional. Those guys go out and do it every day. Every day. I do it. I cut maybe 30 trees down a year. Far from a professional. Okay, I'm not even in their league. Okay, when I cut a notch, okay, if I cut a notch and it's halfway lucky, I get halfway lucky, and the tree drops, okay, and gets close to where I want it to hit, man, I'm the happiest guy in the world, man. It's like finding a $20 bill on the ground. So, but I don't care who you are. Buck and Billy Ray and Nuts ain't bringing that tree down without doing some other stuff. Now, I'm going to move up a little bit. Here was the path, glide path for that tree. Can you see it? It's so straight here to this camera. It's this tree right here, okay, that goes up, and you can start seeing the Ys in there that are intertwined amongst themselves. See, that's a straight line through here. And I was hoping that I could drop that down through this path and drag it down this way. The reason I didn't do it, like I said before, is because I knew it was going to get hung up. See the Y's in there? You can see the big Y. I don't know if I have a hard time pointing out. There's a big Y that's broke off. Okay? I saw that, and it's in, so there's a Y in that tree. There's a Y in both trees up there, and they're intertwined. Now, I hope it doesn't fall on my head. This is the last tree I dropped. Now, mind you, I'm no logger. I'm no tree faller. But see, there's nothing up here. And that tree fell exactly where I wanted it to go. Now, it might have been a little bit easier to be on that side of that tree, but at this point it was easier for it to go on that side of the tree. And if you look at the hinge, it's not the best hinge in the world. I'm not a logger. Then another one made a comment, why do you have a 36-inch bar on there? Because I'm in the forestry program here, and I have to maintain these woods the best I can. And they want these stumps cut off. That stump's over 3 foot in diameter at the base. Okay, they want them cut off at the ground, so that's what I do. And maybe we'll show a couple others that are cut off fairly low. Okay, this is the tree. Now this one here was another one. It had some big limbs on it, and see, I waited till it rotted down. I waited till it rotted down the best I could. Okay, there's hardly any limbs down here because they're rotted off. But this is what hung this tree here up. Right here. It's another Y. And the only way you could do it is climb it. But can you see how rotted this tree is? How long I had to wait? So if I wait too much longer than I've waited on that tree up there, not only am I going to have a piece of junk that's over an inch thick, I'm going to have wood that isn't even good for firewood. So I knew once this one fell off the stump, I knew I wasn't going to have any problem, and that's why I pulled this one off first. And yeah, that's a rotten hinge. The 36-inch saw and stuff is too big for me, I know that. But 10 years ago when I bought it, it worked well. Let me think how I'm going to get to where I'm going. We'll go up there. Now here's, did you see this limb here? In that video when this came down, it dropped down right next to that when the tree started falling, so nothing had hit it yet. See, there's pretty clear canopy up here, but that limb, I don't know yet whether it was the one that went off that way or that way. You weren't going to miss that hickory tree, and it knocked out that hickory tree was already busted up there. That's an old hit. So, and did I ever tell you I hate hickory trees? That tree was not going to break. It was going to bend. If that had been an oak tree, it would probably pushed it right over and busted it. I'm on a deer path. We're going to go up to this tree here. People said, well, you need to get underneath of this thing and cut a notch out and let it fall. Have you lost your mind? Have you lost your mind? There's no way I'm getting underneath that tree and trying to get that fall. That thing's over 2 foot in diameter, guys. And it's got a lot of rot, so you can't really know what it's going to do. But if you get up there, see all the limbs? The limb that goes up is in the Y right there. This limb here is in the Y right there. So when I hooked this with this chain, there was another guy who says, you need to do it this way, you need to do it that way. Well, if you watch the video of me first doing the pull, I did it, and I have another video. I knew the chances of this tree going up the hill were probably pretty slim, okay? But I'm going to take the easiest path first. If that had come up the hill, I could have dragged it up and dragged it down that tree up there. But what I wanted it to do, see that limb that's coming out, is I wanted it to roll that way. So when I put this chain on here, I put it so the hook was down here, and as it pulled, it would pull this way to roll that tree. As for the hinge, that hinge is broke off, guys. Now I'm going to come in here. I don't think there's anything there. I'm going to come in with my pole saw, because then I'll be 10 feet away from it and knock out some of this stuff. Okay? Now, the reason I'm using a pole saw 10 feet away, I'll give you a quick story. You guys know I got a lot of mouse traps out here. Lots of mouse traps. Okay? I would say 90% of the mice that I've caught now I'm up to 93. Okay? I would say 98% of them, no, 95% of them were all old, mature mice. And the reason I'm catching them is because their reaction time is a lot slower than the little mice. Those little mice see that thing coming down and they're fast. I'm the old mouse, man. This trap here would get me. Okay? I don't jump like I used to. I don't walk like I used to, don't do anything like I used to. Anyhow, now what you guys can't see is the angle here. So when I was pulling with that chain, I was hoping it was going to roll the log, which would undo that geared in mesh up there, because it's just like a gears up there. Okay, I was hoping it would roll it out that way, but it had so much force going this way because of the angle, it couldn't pull it. So that's part of the problem. I don't even know what I do with my chains now, but anyhow, that's part of that. So what I'm going to do is bring my pole saw in there and just touch those little fibers up to make sure there is no pole. And then I'm going to come up here probably with a 1050 and clear a path through here. A lot of hickory trees, you know I hate hickory trees. They got branches that grab everything. They're real grabby. If you know about hickory trees, I don't know, the way they are, they're not going to break. The limbs aren't going to break. They're just going to grab and hold because they just, I don't know, it's just the way they do. So that's grab that and holding on to that hickory tree. But I knew that was not going to come down. Okay, there was no doubt in my mind that it wasn't going to come down. That's why it's been sitting here for 5 years. But if I let it rot much longer, I won't even get any firewood out of it. Look at this thing. You got 3 inches. You got 3 inches of rot there, and the bark's gone. Okay, I want to get some wood out of it. I know it's not a saw log, so we've harped on that enough. Let's go. Man, the Kubota's all the way down there. That's got my list on it. We've got to go down there and get the list. That's all there is to it. You guys made me, a lot of you people made me mad. I don't really want to go walking under it, but okay, how's Buck and Billy Ray going to stop from hitting all those limbs? This hickory tree here, you can't see it from this angle, I'll have to go up the top, bows over this way, okay? And that's what that tree did, was catch that hickory tree. And that hickory tree ain't going to break. The hickory trees just don't break. Anyhow, we're going back down to the, so now you've got some of the inside on it. The chains that I use are grade 80 chains, okay? They got lots of pull power to them. They don't have the pull power that that winch has. And the problem, and I've been on a computer all day trying to find the slip hooks, because I use a slip hook on one side because it grabs it and will hold it instead of sliding off. I can't find the slip hook I want. I want a grade 100 slip hook. And the people that I've talked to this morning really had no idea what I was even talking about. They knew what a slip hook was. They didn't understand that, okay, I got one chain here, I got a bigger one. I'm gonna have to go up there and put you on the tripod. The tripod's all the way up the top. I'm gonna give you a different angle of that tree. Looks like a mouse rest home, doesn't it? We're going up the top now, okay? That's that other big tree that needed the 36-inch bar. Here's a tree I tried to cut off fairly low. I also still have to cut off that big tree over there. That's over 36 inches in diameter. And when they get to a point where they rot, I knock them out and then I burn them. Once they got all the dirt off of them and sit for a few years. There's one I cut off fairly low. I cut them off as low as I can comfortably. Here's another one I pushed out because I don't like that stuff in the woods. It's gonna be windy up here, guys. Probably should have been back for, this shows the why. This is about where my pole was. Let me turn this off. I don't know where, I thought I got the tripod, there it is. Got to put the emergency brake on. Okay. The reason I kept the 36-inch bar on is because I have some stumps to pull out. Okay. I try to cut them out low, and I like to get through them in one cut. They're labeled the year and when they're cut, and there's a book on them. I've said that before. So that's kind of what's going on. This is a stump that I went up against to. This one was number 20 in year 20. And that ain't no little tree, okay? That probably didn't, you know, you might have been able to do that with a 36-inch bar, or I mean a 24-inch bar. But when I come out, and there's another one down there, like I said, I'm cutting 30 of these dead trees a year. There's a real good view, if I can get you in on it, and you can hear me. Oh, but then you can't see that limb that's caught in the other limb? Okay, and you can see the other limbs up there caught in that Y. There was no way that tree was coming down. You can cut that off. You can cut that off down there at that base 10 times and it's still not going to come down. And when you start cutting them down and chasing them, it's one thing to chase a 6 or 8 inch tree through the woods. I call it chasing trees through the woods. You can cut it, then go up and then another 4 feet, and then cut it and it falls straight, and then you cut it again and you cut it again. Chasing the trees through the woods, that's not particularly safe. But that tree down there is over 2 foot in diameter. I would estimate its weight somewhere around 6,000 pounds. Oh, I put this thing on backwards. I gotta turn this around. I went to the camera store the other day looking at cameras, and that was another very disappointing situation, which I don't think I'm going to get into that on this one. Anyhow, maybe now that it's stable, I'll zoom in there and you can see what's tangled up in there. It's not just leaning against that tree. It's kind of sewn in together. Okay, now I was telling you the flight of the drop. See that? I can't see. Let me back you up. I'm probably getting in the wind now. Okay, I had a perfect place for it to fall down here, and you can see that tree is aiming right perfect for it. So my hinge was not as bad as everybody is kind of stating. Oh, you had a bad hinge. Oh, it was too high. It was too low. It was too, you know. If it falls even close, fucking Billy Ray. Okay, I'll tell you another situation. That tree over there that I pulled down with a winch, I called a couple tree places. They wanted $150 to $200 just to climb the tree and hook my cable on it. Okay, which that big tree over there, if it yields a cord of wood, would be almost a miracle. This tree does not have a cord of wood in it. So if you're going to charge me, let's say $100 to climb that tree, okay, I'm not going to get $100 wood out of it processed. So that makes no sense at all to pay somebody that kind of money to do that, in my mind. I mean, it's just going to fall in the woods. It ain't going to make any difference. But if I can salvage something out of it, I'm happy. And I noticed I got to pull this stuff up out of the woods. There's a lot of wood there. I try to use everything. All right, where are we at? Oh, I want to show you the chains, but you know, I can't show you those chains up here because it's just too daggone windy. The thing on the slip chains, and the lady that I was talking to, I wanted to show you the different, bouncing around here, I wanted to show you the different angles of that tree and why it did not come down. And I knew it would not come down. There's my, what one guy says, is that the first day you ever wore those chaps? I hope it is. I hate those daggone things. You know? And then he said, oh, your equipment must be all brand new. It's all shiny. That saw's 1982, buddy. 1982. And that's the one I go to. And it's not a 12-inch, it's not a 36-inch bar, it's a 16-inch bar. Where's my other chain? Oh, here's my, I think, 12-inch bar. Now, if you want to get a top saw, you need to get, this is a 201, you need to get a 020T, which is what I had before, but you can't get them anymore. They're a lot better saw. That one there is still 10 years old too, probably. Wait, you gotta look up his comment on my place. He'll probably take it off because I left him a nasty comment. He got his first comment from me. Guess what? I gave it back to him, and I could have hammered on him even more than I did. But if you go watch his video, it'll give him the benefits, but maybe he'll get an idea not to be so rude. I got all sorts of trees I've dropped up here. That one I dropped over there, the first one out of those that I dropped, I was happy with the way that went down. It's got a crappy hinge on it. I'll be the first to admit that I'm a terrible hinge dropper. I still got mess over here to clean up. If the weather would cooperate, it's drying out pretty good today, but it's just a little bit muddier than I want it to be. We'll come down here. I know, I'll set it up, and maybe the Jeep will accidentally get in the video a little bit. I got the tripod. Yeah, I don't like safety pajamas. I don't think they do you any good. I really don't. They're only going to do you good when you hit them. Other than that, they're hurting you. They make you work twice as hard. But I guess you're planning on the occurrence, not the not wearing them. I'm going to show you this on chains. People, it's not real level, but I'm not on the level. Chains. Here's what gave up the ghost on that other one, which I don't have the chain here. I don't know where it is. I don't know where any of those chains went to be honest with you. I thought I'll have to find them. Maybe I sent them up to paint them. Like I said, I like painting them red. Those are grade 80 chains. Those were 5/16, 3/8 chain. If you can see on it, I don't know. That says 80 right there. I messed with grade 80 because it's a lot stronger. That was the biggest you could get back when I was buying chains. So this is a grade 80. It's rated, let's say rated for 7,000 pounds. Chain's probably rated for 7,000 pounds. Okay? Are you with me so far? Well, like I said, I can't tell when you're in the picture or not. Okay, so you got chain rated at 80, hook rated at 80. This is a slip hook. This is what they call a grab hook. Okay, I mispronounced it in, I misspoke when I showed what broke on that chain up there. It was the slip hook that broke, not the grab hook. Grab hook, it's grab hook because they go in and they grab. Okay, when I go around something and I grab on this, okay, it's not increasing the power of that. Okay, it's doubling the power at this end. So when I wrap this around a tree like this, say this is around a tree, and this starts pulling, okay, like this, it's doubling the power of this. So now instead of an 80 here, you need a 160 here, and they don't make it. So that's why that hook gave up the ghost, in my opinion. The cable on that thing, I don't know what half-inch steel cable's rated at. The winch is rated at 20 tons, so I can't imagine they would put a cable that's not cable, but less than that. So I don't know. But what I'm trying to find is a 5/16. 3/8 is just too daggone heavy to carry through. And if you've got something that's pulling more than 4,500 pounds, you should get something, you know what you get, and then go to the big one. But for rule of thumb, that little chain has pulled everything out. I busted it one time, and that was that was the repair I had it with 2 grade 80 bolts. So I had 2 in place of it. Now I got to find my list I keep losing. So, some of the stuff that we've covered. How much time do I got? See, I got a whole list. We got, yeah, you guys, some of you guys like long movies. The tree is caught in a double Y, so I showed you that. It's dead. Climbers don't want to climb it because their spikes won't spike into it, and there was no low limb to grab it. Okay? There's some people said go underneath of it and cut it off at the stump again. Okay? The thing is so dead you cannot, like I told you in the mouse. Okay? I couldn't jump fast enough. I wouldn't think about doing it. It's too close to the ground, and there's too many dead limbs above it. Okay? The notch was too big, the notch was too small, the notch was too high, the notch was in the wrong spot. Any notch that drops a tree and gets it close to where you're hitting and you don't get hurt is the perfect notch. Okay? I'm not a professional forestry person, logger, sawyer. Okay? Billy Ray, nuts are way beyond me. Way, way, way beyond me. They still could not have got this tree down. Okay? They still could not have got that tree down. They would have had to climb the hickory and limb it, or they would have had to climb something and limb it. Okay? The direction of the pull. The direction of the pull, because of the angle of the hill was going up like this, the pull was pulling this stump down into that tree further. Okay? I have had that let loose in that position dozens of times. Okay? I'm going to do it the easiest way first. Okay? That's just what it is. The easiest way was to pull it one strand, wrap the choke around it. There's another video on pulling logs to make them twirl when they come out. Okay, did it maybe 3 or 4 years ago, showing how you hook it around here, and when you pull it this way, the log will turn this way. When you hook it this way, it'll go that way. Okay, I took the easiest way first. It didn't work. Okay, and then I went to the next thing, give it a little more pull on the easiest way. So then I ran a snatch block, which doubled my power. I put the front of the bobcat up against the stump to pull, and I could have kept pulling until I broke the chain, or I pulled until I broke the hook. Okay. At that point, there's no point in stressing anything else out. Okay. So now the direction of the pull, what nobody has noticed, which was probably the most, in my opinion, and I was aware of it, scariest thing to me in far, that tree, when it's falling down like that, and maybe I got a stick in here. Okay, this'll be my tree. Wait a second, I'm getting a tree. Can't get a tree. Ugh. I'm hooked uphill this way. I'm hooked down here. When that tree starts to follow, you have to let that cable out fast, okay? Because that tree's got 6,000 pounds and it's got leverage. That would have pulled that bobcat down that hill or flipped it over or done something like you wouldn't believe. That scared me a lot, okay? And I was very aware of that. Now the direction of the pull, I'm going to see if I can't just slide it off the stump. Once it's off the stump, there's nothing stopping it to go up that hill, okay? The chainsaw, oh, that's a chainsaw, it's the hats. Everybody, some people cracked on me about my goofy hat. That does not make me a forester. No, I know it does not make me a forester. But there's a reason foresters have aluminum hats that are hard like this. It's because those limbs fall on them. But what I found out is it's got an air gap around here in between the suspension problem. And aluminum, if you know pots and pans and know aluminum and metal, a piece of heat here will just it gives up the heat a lot better than the plastic. So it's actually cooler than the plastic ones. And I bought it used, so it was half the price of anything else out there. The clean stuff, we went over the clean stuff, that about sized it up. I probably forgot half of it. I think I'm running out of time. So anyhow, that's my rant and rave on that. I did go to a camera store to try to get some cameras. I'll have to discuss that in another movie because I'm at 29 and this goes out at 30. And that was discussed with the man at the camera store. So that's the nonsense on this. When it dries out in a day or two, if it doesn't rain again, then we're going to go attack that tree. I'm going to let this just kind of fade away. Like I said, it's straight. It's falling straight down right where I want it. I couldn't have wanted it any better. So that's how it is. Over and out for this one. I'm going to put this one on tonight. don't forget, if you leave me a bad comment or any comment, I usually go look you up. So thanks for stopping by. I hope you understand a little bit more of what's going on. I'm going to leave a description of what you guys are called.